requires a large group in this test. Man, all these signs are for us. I love it. I'm gonna ring the bell anyway.
Yeah.
What does it say?
It says, due to events in the district, Congressman McCaul's office is currently closed,
That's with the event.
which they know that during recess week we come. Our office policy requires that large groups who would like to meet with staff request an appointment to ensure staff availability. So, I just like that 3 months ago there was no signs on this door.
Yeah, let's.
So due to events about the recess, they closed the office, and I think we are the event that they're referring to. So
Is
that's.
there nobody in there, do you think?
I mean, we knocked and we waited. If they're in there, they're being very quiet. What I think we want to do is still go up in small groups. We're going to put our letters under the door.
Okay.
And for those who are willing, we would love to get video of you reading a couple lines from your letter.
Congressman McCall, I saw that you decided to become a co-sponsor of the H.R. 400, the Anti-Sanctuary Cities Bill. And I think these sanctuary cities legislations make our cities less safe, they tear families apart, and they divert police resources away from where they should be.
By supporting this bill, you, Representative McCaul, are aligning yourself with Trump over your constituents and over your own local community.
The America that I love does not intimidate and scapegoat vulnerable communities. It does not talk about family values and Christian values and then tear families and communities apart.
Texas economy would be wrecked, absolutely wrecked, if our immigrants are gone. Please come back to Texas and represent us. Thank you.
I have to say that this is my third visit to the office, and I've called several times for a town hall. I've attended 2 town halls where he hasn't shown up. So I'm just wondering when I can voice my concerns to Representative McCaul. His salary is being paid by his constituents and taxpayers.
This wall would be enormously disruptive to the local economy and to the good relations with Mexico. It is ill-conceived and will not address the problem of immigration.
What we do need from our politicians is comprehensive immigration reform so that we can continue to keep families together and allow immigrants to improve our country. And a border wall would cost too much. It would take private property away from Texans. It would divide communities and ecosystems.
We can all identify as individuals who may be 1 or 2 paychecks away from catastrophe due to health problems or financial difficulty. As a constituent, I've become more concerned about President Trump's agenda, which is definitely not centered or focused on the well-being of those who are the least among us.
I could think the money that's spent on the wall that you're proposing be better spent for health care.
Have you seen the protests in other industrialized nations screaming for the American style of health care? Well, neither have I. No one in the world is buying what the Republicans are trying to sell for their medical overlords.
The recent crop of anti-transgender rights legislations, I urge you to stand against those whenever you can.
On behalf of your children and on behalf of my children and my grandchildren, I'm hoping that you will help EPA and other agencies retain the funding that they need to study climate change and to mitigate its effects.
Climate change is the most important issue, not only for our generation, but also for future generations. We do not need to amend the Clean Air Act. We do not need to cut the EPA budget or the budget of the Office on Environmental Justice.
We wish you would please consider joining the Climate Solutions Conference Committee in the House of Representatives to help us deal with our changing climate and weather. Thank you.
Rudy Giuliani told Fox News that he enlisted McCaul to draft an extreme vetting memo following the Trump campaign's call for a Muslim ban. You have since claimed that your consultation on this topic was to steer the Trump administration away from instituting a Muslim ban. If this is true, then please release the memo that you sent to the Trump campaign instructing them on the topic of extreme vetting. Thank you very much.
Recently, the House Homeland Security Committee that you are chair of gave an unfavorable designation to a resolution requiring the Department of Homeland Security to provide documents pertaining to the Russia investigation We need information and answers to questions about other countries meddling in our government and elections.
Congressman McCall, I am writing again to ask you to support efforts in Congress to require public disclosure of President Trump's tax returns. I'm sorry I couldn't deliver this letter in person to your staff since the office was closed during congressional recess. I'm also very disappointed that you will not hold public meetings in your district.
Hello, Congressman McCall. This is simply asking you for a town hall meeting. Pretty jam-packed under there.
It is.
The other day, we bombed Syria. We bombed Syria with Raytheon rockets. Raytheon is something that the president is invested in. We know this, but we don't know a whole lot else because we haven't seen his tax returns.
Given Trump's refusal to release his own tax returns and to divest, there should be no tax reform. No tax returns, no tax reform.
Bashar al-Assad is a butcher and a dictator, but the Trump administration has shown itself to be untrustworthy and incompetent in nearly everything they've done so far in office. And I certainly hope that you and other members of Congress will hold President Trump and his administration to the highest standard of honesty when it comes to providing evidence meant to justify to the American people and the world military strikes on Syria.
It baffles me that the fate of innocent Syrian citizens can be a reason for missile attacks, but not for increasing the number of Syrian refugees that are allowed into the U.S. Could you please explain why you made a public statement supporting the U.S. missile attacks in Syria, while not simultaneously stating that the U.S. has a responsibility to take in more Syrian refugees?
I am 39 years old, and the U.S. has been at war for most of my adult life. With the way things are going, I'm wondering if it'll ever end. The military operations for the last 15 years have cost millions of lives, thousands of them American, and trillions of dollars, and what do we have to show for them? As the saying goes, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. There must be another way.
I belong to you, you belong to me. You're my representative, I'm here to talk to you, where are you? Unless you see nobody else in Texas during this recess, then you should have seen me and all of the others who want to see you.
We want a town hall!